Hey, this is John Acuff, and today I'm going to be shooting the very first video of the 7-part series about do-over. If you're watching this, let me start by saying thank you for buying a copy of my new paperback do-over. The hardcover came out about a year ago, and the softcover or the paperback just came out, and I'm really excited about it. So let me set up the series for you. Let me tell you where we're going to go in this and what it's going to be like. It's going to be really casual. I'll say that right out of the gate. My goal is to film the videos as if you and I were sitting down having coffee. So it won't be crazy produced. There won't be any drone shots where you see like the top of my head. There won't be a music bed probably under it where like I come in and I'm like, oh, I didn't hear you come in. How thoughtful of you to stop by. It's not going to be very fancy. It's just going to be stripped down as if you and I are just having a coffee, talking about your job, talking about the future, talking about what you're working on. And so there's going to be 7 different videos. This is video 1. And in this video, I'm going to lay out some of the changes we're going through and kind of set the stage for what's going to happen next. In video 2, I'm going to show you the 4 different types of transition moments you go through. The 4 different changes you'll face in your job, regardless of your age or where you are in your employment history. In the 3rd video, I'm going to talk about the 4 different investments that you need to make in order to survive and actually have fun during the changes. And then in the 4th video, I'm going to talk about one of those 4 investments. And then the rest of the videos will be per investment. So you'll get a whole video about each one of the investments I talk about. So today I want to start by telling you a quick story about my kids. I have 2 daughters, 11 and 13, and if you have kids or have ever been a kid yourself, you know that kids are hilarious. They say really funny things. I remember one night my youngest daughter and I were late to a dinner party. I had picked her up from art class, and she said, "Oh, we're going to be so late that we miss most of the good layers of the 7-layer dip." And she was right. Like, if you think about it, guacamole is the best layer. Like, another name for that item could be guacamole and 6 other things you kind of like. Like, nobody cares about the bean layer. That's foundational more than anything. And it was funny that she was measuring time and our lateness in layers of a dip. But sometimes kids say things to you that change the way you look at the world or remind you that their world is very different than the world you and I grew up in. One night at dinner, my youngest daughter said, "Dad, today at school, the internet was down. We had to do everything old-fashioned." And I leaned in and said, what does old-fashioned mean, sweetheart? And she said, "Well, we were supposed to draw the state flag of Tennessee, but we couldn't Google it up. So we had to walk to the library and look it up in a book." And I said, "Oh, the horror, the tragedy. That's like the Oregon Trail. Did you have to use your legs the whole way? Were the pages of this book device heavy because they don't scroll? Oh, and they're two-sided." But when you think about it, their world's different than our world, isn't it? They're growing up with technology in a way we didn't grow up with it. Sometimes my kids ask me to tell them the Blockbuster story. They'll be like, Dad, tell us the Blockbuster story. When you wanted a movie, you had to get in the car and drive somewhere and they could be out of the movie. You couldn't just demand it with your voice and have it instantly sent. They didn't get that. They're growing up with technology in a way you and I didn't have to. Like, have you thanked your lucky stars today, if you're close to my age or in that range, that you didn't grow up with social media as a teenager? Have you ever thought about that? Do you know how lucky we were? Your worst, most awkward adolescent moments were not documented for the world to see. When I was a freshman, I shaved 3 stripes in my eyebrow to look more like Vanilla Ice. Yeah, you might want to rewind that part of the video because you'll never hear that collection of words used in the same way again. I wanted to look more like Vanilla Ice. And I got made fun of for a few days, but it never went viral. It never got posted. Nobody ever talked about it. And I would have been an idiot on social media. I would have been that 14-year-old boy you see on Instagram, no shirt on. Check out my abs, YOLO. Those weren't my abs I was so proud of. Those were my ribs. That was my spine I was bragging about. But I didn't have to worry about that. But your kids, the kids after that, will have to deal with technology in a different way because our culture is changing and it's changing quickly. I think about change too when it comes to companies. Think about the hotel industry. 20 years ago, hotels competed against other hotels. The Marriott competed against the Hilton, who competed against the Hyatt. But now, thanks to things like the Airbnb app, hotels compete against everyone who has a relatively clean room. Everyone. They have a million new competitors. I don't care how much of a visionary you are. No hotel executive saw a million new hotel competitors coming. But they had to change. And here's the problem. Once change is out of the box, you can't sew it back in. Ask Metallica how well that worked. Remember when they stopped the spread of digital music by suing their fans? What a day! Or think about cabs. 20 years ago, if you asked a cab driver, will the internet change your job? They might have guessed at GPS, but they never saw Uber coming. They never saw Lyft coming. And what a radical shift that is for them. I was in New York City, and I took a cab because I'm old, and I was asking the guy about it. He said, well, back in the day, and it's funny, back in the day means like 1997 or 2004, depending on the shift. He said back in the day, the way you became a cab driver in New York was you purchased what's called a token. You had to buy a token to drive a cab, like to officially drive a cab. So you'd save up and save up and save up. He saved up $400,000. He got a loan to buy his token. And he said, John, do you know what my token is worth now, today? That $400,000 token is worth $0. He didn't do anything wrong. He just got swept up in change. I went up to Comedy Central a few months ago to talk to their team about change, which is intimidating. That's a really funny room. Those guys are brilliant. And I went to talk to them about change because they used to be the single source of funny videos, and now every teenager with an iPhone and a YouTube channel is a competitor. What do you do with that? Even what we care about is changing. I work with a lot of boomer companies where they're trying to figure out millennials, and they try to fix a millennial problem with a boomer solution, and they miss each other. You know, right now 40% of millennials care more about workplace flexibility than they do salary. And I have to say for a second, it kills me when a boomer CEO says, oh, millennials are lazy or entitled. I always want to go, oh, we should talk to their parents, the people that raised them. Oh, wait, that's you. Like, we're all in this together. And here's the thing. I don't believe any one thing about any one generation. I know some millennials that are running laps around boomers. I know some boomers that are doing technology better than millennials. We're all in this together. But there is change. Where we live is changing right now. I was on a ski lift in Crested Butte, Colorado. And a kindergarten teacher told me, you know, for the first time, there were 5 new kids in our kindergarten class. And I said, why is that? And she said, well, people have always wanted to live at the mountains. Isn't that the dream sometimes? You want to live at the beach. You want to live in the mountains. You want to live somewhere beautiful. But the problem, the thing that always held you back was there just weren't any jobs. You had to work at like Pineapple Willie's and make fried shrimp. And you thought, okay, there's just not enough jobs. But she said now because of telecommuting and working from home, anyone can work from anywhere and live anywhere. It's changing our geography. And you're going to be impacted by that change. You are. Like, I don't care right now, if you're watching this, you've been at the same company for 10 years and you're crushing it and you love it and you're a valued member of the team and you're getting bonuses. Like, I don't care if that's you. I don't care if you're a college graduate and you're 24 and you bought the book and you're about to enter the job market. I don't care if you're about to retire. I don't care where you are. Your job's going to change. The biggest lesson I learned about that, I'll never forget. I worked at a company and one day they eliminated an entire middle management section. Like, everyone who was at this one point got eliminated. And what was crazy was that of the 5 people that got cut, some were amazing, some were average, some just weren't good at their jobs, but it didn't matter. The performance didn't matter because when they looked at the piece of paper, they said, okay, this line goes, and all those people lost their job, and all of a sudden it hit me that, wow, change comes for us. Maybe it's industry change, maybe it's technology change, maybe it's you get purchased or your company moves. There's changes coming for you. And that's what video 2 through 7 are going to talk about. Because I believe, and I'm going to try to convince you to believe, that change is amazing. That when we lean into change the right way, it's amazing. So my task for you today, really, really simple. I want you to think about a change you've gone through and something you've learned. That's it. Your job has changed at some point. And maybe you've forgotten about that moment. Maybe you didn't stop and pause long enough in that moment because it was so intense. Today, I want you to think about, how has my job changed and what did I learn from it? In video 2, I'm going to show you why change isn't complicated, and I'm going to show you the 4 different types of changes that you're going to experience. Thanks for watching.